tremendous looking trophy.
Hello and welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Plat, and joining me this week, for the first time, this week, because we'll probably be back, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, Dylan. Excited to be here before all the news breaks, assuming, all the smoke is coming from fire and not...
Yeah, what's your analogy? What do you got?
I'm sorry. Not from... I was trying to think...
Yeah.
If all the smoke's coming from fire and not vapes.
Okay, yeah, very good.
That's what I was trying to think of the word and it eluded me.
Yeah, okay. I don't pay it. I think you felt that one, but that's fine. Yeah, look, to be honest, let's get this out of the way. So, in case you don't know, somehow, I don't know, maybe the internet's been filled with other things, which to be honest it has, so you may have missed this, but VG247 writes Sony to reveal its Game Pass-like subscription as early as next week. This was written last week, so now we're in that week, so this week. They write, we may finally hear about Sony's answer to Xbox Game Pass next week if a new report is any indication. According to Bloomberg, the PlayStation Plus mixed with PlayStation Now service, codenamed Spartacus, will be revealed as soon as this week. The report states that the service will debut with a nice lineup of hit games from recent years. A previous report on the service stated that Spartacus will have a monthly fee and will provide access to both classic and modern titles. It's slated to launch in spring and will combine PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now services. To add to this, there's also some other rumors swirling around. Greg Miller over at Kind of Funny has delayed their PlayStation podcast, PS I Love You XOXO, to their recording on what day? Thursday. So that's our Friday. That's because he reckons like he's seen enough smoke for 3 things.
Quote, man, it's looking like it might be a very interesting week for PlayStation if even one of the 3 rumors I've heard is true.
Yeah, so 3 potentially big enough things. If only one of them turn out to be true, enough reason to delay the podcast. Well, I want y'all to know the reason that we're better than fucking Greg Miller, right? You know. I'll tell you why. It's because we don't delay the podcast. We're here giving you an episode anyway. And then if something big happens,
we have delayed
we'll be back.
podcasts in the past.
We'll be back. We're not delaying off
That's
rumors,
true.
Ash. All right, we got standards. All right, fucking Greg.
Yeah,
Miller,
that's
come
true.
on.
We delay on facts.
Yes.
Facts.
Bloody Kind of funny. More like kind of excuse to only have to do one less podcast. You know what I mean? Right. Go on over there. Well, how many podcasts do they do a week? 10? Nothing. We do like 20.
Probably.
Bullshit.
I don't think we do. Difference is we don't get paid.
Yeah, that's the main thing. So we get like a divide
How
by
many
2.
podcasts are they doing for free every week?
Yeah, that's right. Damn right. Fucking, we win.
Or with very limited ad revenue.
That's right. We win. Beat them. Kind of funny. See you at RTX.
Oh.
Wait, they cancelled it. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. What's your thoughts? Is there enough smoke that you're fully expecting all this, like something to happen this week, or do you just reckon? I mean, it's Bloomberg. I feel like it's pretty like.
I think, yeah. It's a clear run. There's like no big games or anything coming out, so I mean, it's a solid week to announce their big plans. I guess it's kind of right before the end of the financial quarter in America, I believe. Like they have a weird financial system where they like end of April, I think is.
They're right. Their dates back.
They're cut off.
So, I mean,
they're all crazy over there. So yeah, I mean, it would make kind of sense if they announced it in the next week or so, and then kick off April with like the first month of whatever they're going to do. There's also other rumors swirling around to like it could be another acquisition they're going to announce this week, or
could be all of the above.
Or who knows what else? Major franchises announced, or I don't know if they're going to announce a massive state of play where they announce all this random shit at the same time. Who knows?
They announced that.
Who knows?
They announced what's McCall's back this year. What's the thing called? The PlayStation
PSX.
PSX, yeah. PSX is back.
PlayStation experience, yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, I definitely think something's going to happen, and I can tell you exactly when it's going to happen, and it's going to happen tonight. After we record this.
So it's Tuesday night, first announcement in the Tuesday morning in America.
Yep. Especially if they're doing a state of play.
Even if it's just plans, it's like, hey,
yep,
we're going to announce something later in the week.
If they're going to announce it, if they're doing a show, they're totally going to announce it tonight, and they're going to say it's happening like Friday morning, our time Friday morning. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. That's when it's going to happen. Or if they're just going to drop some news, it's still going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
Because it either happens our Tuesday morning, barely ever, but it either happens there or our Wednesday morning. I've never seen something happen a Thursday or Friday morning unless it was a unannounced state of play. Yes. They do state of plays on those days, but I've never seen them actually drop something on those days, at least from memory. It's either the first couple of days of the week. So it's totally happening, but here we are. We're recording. We're talking about it. This is all useless. Well, but yeah, put it this way. If they announce the PlayStation Now, whatever, PlayStation Spartacus, whatever.
Yep.
That's pretty big.
This audio is not going to be used.
We'll just cut it all, right? We'll delete it all. You never even heard this. Or we'll record something else. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty keen. Obviously, I feel like the announcement of the PlayStation Spartacus, that whole service would be pretty big for PlayStation for the year. A lot of changes, lots of things to discuss there, of course, depending on what rumors and stuff have been true. Also, most importantly, does that mean my secret department in Adelaide finally gets turned on? Like, it's like,
does that all that money finally come to fruition?
Is that just can I finally say I was right? I've been talking about this fucking place for years. Do something. Just poking it with a stick. Like, come on. You know how much money I waste on newspaper subscription to talk about you? Motherfuckers. Yeah, we'll talk about that later in a week when something's announced. Because something 100% will be announced. All right, let's get into discussing some PlayStation games. So firstly, Ghostwire Tokyo, of course, wasn't out last week when we recorded. I did get my
wasn't it?
No, it wasn't, because it came out on Friday, right? Like this past Friday. So like I had the code arrive in the inbox when we recorded last Tuesday morning, but I hadn't actually started the game at that point. But then I finished it by Friday, so I was like, weird. Had it before Plat was out, finished it before the game was out, didn't talk about it. But anyway, obviously Ghostwire Tokyo is PlayStation's last Bethesda game. I mean, as far as we're aware, I don't know. What's the final ruling on this? Is this the last Bethesda game? What do you reckon?
I don't think so.
You don't reckon?
I don't reckon.
What do you reckon we're getting then? We ain't getting Elder Scrolls. I ain't getting Fallout. I ain't getting Starfield. What are we getting?
I reckon something like a Wolfenstein, like a mid-tier Bethesda game. They're like, yeah, let's just dump it. Okay. Even if it's not necessarily game date, it's like, we'll just put
6
it out
months
there
later?
because, you know. Okay. Yeah.
Do you reckon there's any point though? Like if they're keeping all the big stuff, it's like at that stage,
extra money, why not?
I guess. Yeah, but I know you can say the same thing for putting all the like Starfield.
If they just make it digital, they don't do any print sales.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah,
fair. Ghostwire Tokyo is so that was like one of the two games where PlayStation had this deal before Xbox shuffled them up into the never-ending growing tower of developers that they've purchased. It is also the one that didn't get anywhere near the treatment that Deathloop did, because we spent all of last year talking about the 1,000,001 trailers and behind the scenes, state of plays, and whatever the hell else there was for Deathloop. And then it is like, when was that state of play for Ghostwire? Maybe a month before launch, and that's when they were like, we're randomly like, here's the release date. I feel like that's sort of how it went. It kind of really did feel like they just sort of threw it out and was like, if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And to a degree, I can see why, because the game is not going to get half the praise that Deathloop did for sure. But if you want to know what the game is, it's a big-ass open-world collectathon. And you may be like, that's not at all what it looks like in any of the trailers. Well, I'm telling you that's what it is, because you can beat the game in a couple hours, probably 5 hours. You can probably beat the game, to be honest. The combat is disappointing. Like, it's fun. It's kind of fun at first, and I guess the cool thing is the DualSense does have that whole, the vibration and everything, so it sort of makes it feel a bit more visceral, but it is very repetitive and gets very boring very quickly. But so you have 3 different spells you can cast, and you don't get them like unlocked over the period of the game slowly. If you sort of get them all very quickly at the start, and it's like, well, there's everything. You've got access to everything. You don't get any more powers later in the game. That's it. You've got all of it. You've got this wind power, It's like fast shooting. You've got a firepower that's like a rocket launcher, and you've got a water power that's like a shotgun. It's sort of how it works. However, none of the things, even though I just listed a bunch of elemental things associated to them, none of them are actually elemental spells, meaning like fire spells aren't better against some enemy types and water spells aren't. It's just like they're just more or less replacements for guns. You could literally switch them for the guns they kind of feel like, and the game would kind of be the same. But at least not having them being guns makes the game feel somewhat unique, I guess. The game is also not scary at all. Amidst all the trailers and everything that was seen where it looks like it would be scary. The creature designs are based on, you know, creepy looking things or whatever, but the game literally never even tries. It's not interested in scaring you. The game is interested in just being an action game with weird looking creatures and stuff like that. There are some times maybe you'll walk down a hallway and it'll be like, you'll see like a I don't know, like some books get blown off a shelf or something, and the character will be like, oh, what the fuck's going on or whatever. But otherwise, that's it. There's no like random ghosts like appearing out of nowhere and creeping, and you never have to like run away from everyone. It's a big open world where you'll literally walk around a corner and you'll see like 4 or 5 creatures hanging out at the other end of the street, and then if you want to go engage with them, you can. Otherwise, you can just like walk around them, do whatever you need to do. It's fine. The story is confusing. As we talked about on here a couple weeks back, where we played that Ghostwire Tokyo prologue case file mission thing. I guess it was to a degree, it was sort of helpful, like playing this, because I kind of knew who some of the characters were, but it really didn't matter in the long run. So you play as KK in that prologue thing, who's this detective who in that thing you get to use his like magic powers or whatever. At the start of this, he's already dead. Like, you don't see how he died. He's just dead, and he's floating around as a ghost form. And then he finds this other character, Akito, or Akio, one of the two, who finds him like lying on the ground. He's being in a car accident. He's nearly dead. And KK like launches himself into his body, and then the two of them are now sharing the consciousness and sort of fighting over control and have to come to terms on how they'll work together to stop this dude who's like unleashed all these spirits in Tokyo, and also like enacted this huge like mist thing that went throughout the city, and when this mist touched everyone, it made their souls leave their body. So all around the city you just have like clothes and shoes laying on the floor in all sorts of places, and there's like no humans left at all. So everyone's dead bar you, and you survive because KK's powers protect you, sort of, but you still can't go in the mist. And the mist is literally a gameplay element where you have to go to these I can't actually what the Shingo gates, something like that. I can't actually remember what they're called, but like gates that you have to clear, which are literally your Ubisoft towers. You know, like you clear them, it clears the mist out of a certain portion of the map, and then you're free to explore that area of the city because you can see it. So unlike Ubisoft games or even like Horizon Forbidden West or whatever, where you'll do a toll neck and it just clears the map clears the fog on the map so you can see stuff. In this, it's a literal thing where the fog needs to be cleared so you can explore there because it'll kill you. And there is a million, and then it'll share collectible icons and stuff as you sort of come across them. And there's like 40 side missions, I think, to do. I did maybe 20, I think. So probably like half in the time I played. I think I put like nearly 15 hours into the game, maybe. I don't know. Maybe 12, 13, close to, I don't know. Yeah, but you could definitely beat the game in half the time. But the other case files things, sorry. Other case files thing was the bunch of side characters that were introduced. So some of those are relevant to this, like the people that KK were working for, his whole detective agency thingamabob. Those characters come into this kinda. However, you're never actually sure if they're all dead or not. Like KK will be like, look, I'm not sure if they're dead or not. Who knows if they're surviving, especially because one of the characters is like this really smart dude. And it's like such a weird like explanation, but like he's built all these things into payphones where you can send souls, like the human souls you can save, which is one of the collectibles in the game, like 200 and something 250,000 of these human souls you got to collect. You can send them through there, which apparently like sends them outside of Tokyo where they'll be saved. So you're saving all these people from not actually, so they're not actually dying. However, that character who was in the detective agency demo prologue thing, he'll talk to you. However, KK explains that it's all voice recorded. Like he's so smart, he'll like voice record stuff, and then you'll find other voice recordings from him, but it's all voice recording. And then KK has a conversation with Akito or whatever his name is at one stage where he's like, have you ever talked to him where it's not through voice recordings? And KK's like, no. So apparently this dude just always talks through voice recordings. He's so smart, he'll just leave them and he knows what everyone will say or some shit like that. And then the girl from the prologue demo is in this at some stage too, but again, you don't know if she's like dead or not. I can't remember if the other character, I think it was like 3 characters in that prologue thing, but I don't recall if the other one was even mentioned or shows up here, but it's fine. Yeah, the story gets weird. It's just sort of paint by numbers, I guess. Like the big bad's like reason for doing what he is just, I gotta destroy the whole world because ghosts are cool, so have fun. But yeah, the thing is, like, the combat is very repetitive. The story's meh. And I gave it a 6, but I'm still sort of keen to go back to the game and potentially get the Plat and like get everything because I actually really enjoy the collectathon part of it. And that's like primarily what the game is. Like if it's going to take you 5 to 6 hours to beat the game, it'll take you 3-4 times that amount to get everything. And it's really weird because it feels like that's obviously the majority of the game. Even the side quests I enjoy more than the main quest because they have a little bit more character and like human element into them where you're interacting with these spirits. And even though they're sort of either fetch quests or quickly like beat a bunch of ghosts or whatever to save a spirit or something along those lines, like they're just like weird elements that come across throughout the city. But yeah, in general, exploring the city's really well designed as well. Like Tokyo, just walking around, even though there's like no humans left there, obviously it's empty. It's still just like a very cool environment to explore, and you can upgrade your powers so you can like sort of, I can't remember what they're called, but there's like these floating creatures around the city that if you spot one, you can like grapple hook it to it and get on top of rooftops. And then you have like a ghostly ability to like glide, and you can upgrade it so you can glide longer. And you can also unlock ability that allows you to create one of those creatures wherever you want, so you can pull yourself wherever you want. So once you got that, I was like I'm pulling myself up onto rooftops wherever, gliding around the city in this like ghostly form, just collecting all the collectibles and stuff. Like it's definitely, that part all became my favorite. Like I didn't really care about the combat or like do anything. I'm just like, it's sort of fun to just go around, or even do the side quests and collect all the stuff. But yeah, it's weird. I've seen some people, I've seen this get a lot higher scores. I've seen it get a lot lower than what I ended up giving it. And yeah, I can see this definitely being a game that a lot of people really love. A lot that are like, why is this even thing? It's like super boring. There's nothing here. But I think I'm in the middle. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. Were you surprised to hear that, like, finding out what sort of the actual gameplay elements was after all the trailers and stuff? Because I know you thought it was going to be scary. And I'm saying right now, it's not scary at all. Like, it doesn't
I think so, based on, the pedigree of the studio and, like, kind of a lot of the imagery and that kind of stuff. Like, you thought it was going to be a bit more horror based, I guess. But it seems like it's not. But it just, it just sounds like it's mediocre. So maybe it would have been better if they had have gone that, leaned more into their horror roots. I mean, there seems to be like moments of that, but yeah, it seems like hard to. I don't know. It seems like it's hard to make an open world scary. So I mean, maybe it's probably
that's the thing. You can't really, because you can't like guide the player, I guess, through like the exact moments and conditions necessary to create tension. If I can literally just spot enemies from a distance, and so it's like, it's almost like, what's the point? But yeah, I know in the trailers they definitely show stuff that looks like, these scary moments or whatever. Especially like I know one of the trailers has this moment where it's like this really weird looking fucked up creature that like launches towards you and grabs your face or whatever. And it seems like that's like a jump scare moment that's happening. However, in context, that's a boss fight and you're like pummeling them with spells and then they just launch themselves at you. So it's not like, oh no, what happened? It's just like, it's a boss fight. You've been in it for 5 minutes and It happens, so it's kind of cool. The other thing, I can't remember what they're called. There's lots of things in this I can't remember because I use like, Japanese terminology or, cultural lingo and whatnot. But there's like these random events that occur, and I think they're like my favorite thing actually in the game. These random events that occur where you'll see like these ghostly marching groups. Like you see, there's one that starts the game. It's like part of a cinematic event. And then I came across one in the game. I was like, oh, fuck, that's cool. Like, cause it's literally just like really tall creatures and whatever. And and the music's like playing like drums, like dun, 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 like as they're like sort of marching across. And they'll just go through the whole city. You can walk into them and like enter a fight, but you can also just sit back and watch them and they won't really interact with you, but it's really, really cool. There is stealth in the game too, if you want to do that. I should mention that, but it is literally just, creep and sneak up behind someone and press square to stealth attack. And the game also gives you a bow, but it's fucking useless, so I keep forgetting to even... like, it's literally like, hey, in case you run out of ammo for your spells, here's something that'll do damage. Have fun, have at it, sort of thing. But it's a weird one. It's a 6 in my mind, but also one that I'm happy to go back and play. And I just don't know how long it'll take me to get all the collectibles. There's so many fucking collectibles. I'm gonna do it one day, Ari. I'm just gonna set up. I'm gonna watch a movie that I've seen before or some TV show that I know I don't have to pay too much attention to. I'm just gonna sit there. I'm gonna zone out. I'm gonna watch that, and I'm just gonna float along the city and slowly get all these collectibles. I think I've nearly got half. Is currently when I'm at. I think I've got like 100,000 souls out of like, and half would be maybe 115 or something. So I'm nearly at 50% of those. But then there's still other things I need to get. Like, I think I've got like 7 out of 25 hidden Tanukis because you got to find all them because they're ready to start a uprising.
I keep hearing about these Tanukis. Like, what do these Tanukis look like?
They're like Tanukis, like.
Are they Studio Ghibli Tanukis with large testicles?
I mean, I don't see the testicles, but no, that's what they are. And it's almost like that movie because they're talking about having a gang war all the time. I'm like, who are you fighting? Like, and you gotta
everybody, everybody,
because the game does the whole thing where the first hour it just like slowly introduces you to each different type of collectible, so like sort of what you're on the lookout for as you're exploring the city. And you meet the boss. And he's like, like I've lost all my Tanukis, all my friends. Well, he doesn't say that. He's like, I lost all my mates. Can you find them all? And you look for the first one, and they're all like hiding in weird objects. So you just go, but they'll be shaking in the environment, like you'll just spot them or whatever. And then you can press square to tip them, go over. And they have like different costumes and clothing on. Some will be wearing hats for some wild reason. That's the other thing I should mention. This game is just really weird. Like you watch trailers, and it'll be like, man, look at these fucked up creature designs. But then I was playing the game for the first half an hour, and then all across the city, they've got these 7-Eleven shops where cats are just floating there, and they serve you, and you buy items from them. And then there's other cats around the city at like little vendor stations, and they want relics, and the relics are just like human items. And they want you to find them, and they'll give you gold for them and stuff like that. There's like all these weird, like just sort of storylines and elements like written to it. You can pet all these dogs. There's like lots of dogs around the streets, so that they survive somehow. I don't know. The mist apparently doesn't affect dogs. The cats all come out because they thought all the humans were gone. That's how that's explained. KK's like, oh, they all come out because they thought all the humans are gone. But then the dogs, you can just pat anyone at any point. So that's cool. I love it. Officially passed the pet. Can you pet the dog thing? But then you can also buy dog food from the cats. I don't know why the cats are selling dog food. That's like a thing. But you can buy dog food from the cats and you can give it to the dogs, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, love you so much." And then they'll lead you and like dig you up some money or maybe an item or something like that. So that's cool. Thanks for them. At any point you can also find cats like around the world, and you can use like your R3 pulse ability, which sort of reveals stuff to read their minds. And the cats will just be chilling on fences going like, man, shit's fucked, eh? Like, it's like a lot of weird like animal stuff in this game. Like, because the Tanukis don't talk either. Like, they don't use their mouths. You read their minds. That's how it works. It's like
so. Is this set in the same universe as Tokyo Jungle? That
I mean, maybe. Who's to say for sure? You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot in here that I'm like, just this could have been a really cool game. It's just that the major things for me are that the combat just gets really repetitive. And it's that whole thing where, like, you've played the first hour, once you've got all 3 of your combat abilities, that's the extent of the same shit you'll be doing, you know, at hour 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, however long you play. Like, the combat never grows. Like, and you get upgrades and skill points when you level up, but all of the upgrades is just like, it does more damage, takes less time to charge up that attack. Like, none of them make you feel like stronger, really. And that's sort of the major letdown, paired with the story just being like lackluster and super forgettable. And then the other thing that's really weird, like chapter 1 through 3 really paced out like evenly, I guess. And then once you get to the end of that, it's just like chapter 4, 5, 6, just like very quick. Like I think you go to start chapter 4, you have to get on this motorbike, which you can see in the trailer, like he's riding this motorbike and shit like that. When you go to get on that motorbike, the game tells you, hey, this is the point of no return. And I remember thinking at the time, like, nah, I looked at the trophies, like there's 6 chapters in the game and they're like, it's a point of no return. And it's because once you get on the motorbike, it takes you to something and then you do a fight, whatever. And then suddenly it's like, hey, it's chapter 5 now. And then you're doing like another mini boss fight and it's like, hey, it's chapter 6 now. I'm like, 3 chapters of the game is just more or less 1 chapter. They've just split them up into things. I don't know. There's lots of weird elements. Anyway, that's Ghostwire Tokyo. Look, if you like collectathons, play it. If you like some unique stuff, if you like Tokyo, I would suggest playing it. Because again, the city is really, it is cool to explore. I think that's sort of the standout thing. Exploring Tokyo is cool. There's lots of cultural things and significance I think the game does really well and interesting. It's like the way it uses sort of Japanese like ghost lore, or what do you want to call that? The ghost, whatever, that sort of stuff, like uses all that very interestingly, obviously. Then the other thing I have finished since last week when we talked about it was Anno Mutationem. Well, however the fuck you say that shit. Put up a review, gave it a 7.5. Really enjoyed it. I think it's the one thing that's changed since I talked about it last week is that last week I said that the game's not very hard. It does a sharp increase of difficulty probably halfway through, where suddenly it's like, and it's a bit too easy. Let's just suddenly make all these enemies take way more health and do more damage. And I was suddenly dying in boss fights and being like, what the fuck? Like, I was breezing through this game. So, and then the story just goes batshit crazy. And not even like, it's hard because I'm like, it's nonsensical, but I really want to make sense of it, which is sort of a compliment, me meeting in the middle. Like, at the end, I'm just like, I have no idea what's happening. Like, I beat this game and I was like, I actually do not understand really what just happened. Like, I kind of know, but I don't really understand. But I want to know. Like, I liked the story enough that I wish I did fully understand or could grasp. Because there was, and the game also introduces like 10 different, really important characters in the last few hours of the game. Like this whole secret organization of these characters. And then there's like a dude showing up and like the game's acting like I already knew who he was. I'm like, did I meet this person before? I don't remember this character being in the game. But standouts are, of course, the same as last week. The art design is just really stunning. I love the pixel art. Every location throughout the game was great. I loved it. They're very varied too. Like you start the game in a very cyberpunk looking city, but then you're also going to like pirate boats, sort of prison pirate boats, like out on sea, and like fight clubs and like underground sewers and like secret laboratories. Like it's quite varied, where it's not just like sticking to the one thing. Weird like mutant cities, stuff like that. So it's very cool. But yeah, the combat is also, although it takes a increase in difficulty, I don't think it's like super complicated. You don't really need to get great at powering or anything like that. You just need to remember to press circle to dodge, which is easier than powering in, most games. Just circle to dodge out enemy attacks and stuff like that, and you'll be fine. I ended up grabbing the platinum for it as well, which is because I was just doing the side quests as I was going along, and there was like collectibles, but apparently I found them all as I was going because I was just exploring everywhere. So cleared up a couple things after I finished the game to get the last few trophies. So fairly easy platinum. I guess if you're just playing the game anyway, you'll get majority of the stuff you can get. After I was looking up after effect, apparently there's only one thing you can fuck up, which there's a collectible on that prison ship location thing, which if you don't get, it can fuck out of the side quest trophy because you actually need that collectible or that item to do a side quest later. But so I was lucky there. I actually found it because I was exploring. But yeah, that's the only thing to be aware of if you do play this one, which I would suggest playing this one. I do think this is, especially if you like these sorts of games. The only thing I'd say is like, obviously there's chunks of the game where it's explorative and, you know, talking to people a bit more and, you know, and then you'll get chucked back into the 2D side scrolling action stuff. So it's not consistently action heavy. There are times where, you know, you're exploring and doing weird, like talking to characters and stuff like that. But still very good. Very much enjoyed it. Good one out of the China Hero project. The other one I'll talk about quickly because I just remembered. And I've done more review for this yet, but I'll just quickly shit on it because it's not very good. There's a game called In Nightmare.
What a setup.
Well, I gotta be honest, like, there's a game called In Nightmare that I've been playing too, because I only remember the embargo was up yesterday afternoon. So it's a similar to, I guess the best way to describe it is it's like Little Nightmares, I guess, like that sort of isometric horror game sort of stuff. So there's like you're playing, I don't know, like you're either playing from what I could gather, you're playing in the mind of like someone who's mentally unstable. They've had a horrible past from their childhood, like abusive parents, cause like depression, and they got put into like sort of a home at some stage, like when they're early for problems. And this is all gathered through sort of like flashbacks because you're exploring this sort of these weird settings, and you're being chased by like different creatures which sort of represent the parents and other figures from this character's life that you're playing, because you're playing as a kid, but it's very obvious that if this is inside this person's mind, it's not like they're a kid like in current time, I guess, is what I was sort of gathering. And you'll find like journal entries that sort of give backstory to the life and stuff like that. But so yeah, there's puzzles to solve at stages, and then other times you're sort of just like sneaking as like, say this woman creature is like looping around the area, and you got to just like sneak behind tables to get from one area to the other, and just very sort of slow paced sort of gameplay stuff. It was fine. Like, it was doing nothing particularly great or terrible at the same time, apart from the frame rate being balked, which after the fact, the developer did send through like a couple of days ago prior to the embargo being up, was like, hey, yeah, we're aware that the frame rate's balked if you're playing it at like 4K resolution or some weird thing. So like change your resolution to 1080p and they'll fix the issue. To which I'm like, that's not really an acceptable answer in my book for any game. Like, you like get it. Just I shouldn't have to be. People shouldn't have to be changing the resolution settings on PlayStation to have the frame rate not be balked. Because it was at times, I swear it was running at maybe 15 frames. And it was probably a 30-second locked game anyway, so it's like half, which is just not great. Then the major problem I run into, and maybe this is, you know, if this gets fixed, the thing is the game's just still fairly average. Like, I'm talking about a game that is, from as far as I got, because I didn't finish it, and we'll get to that in a second, but as far as I got, you know, maybe it was sitting around a 5. And it's dropped because of the bugs and issues. And the major one I had was that I was in the 3rd chapter of 6. Like, the game has a prologue level. Took me maybe 30, 40 minutes to beat. And then chapter 1, chapter 2, they probably took me like an hour or so to beat each. I'm exploring. I was trying to find collectibles. You know, I'm thinking, you know, like I'm doing the game properly. I'm trying to find collectibles. Who knows? Maybe this could be an easy platinum, you know? My brain's like not trying to rush through it. And then I'm playing the 3rd chapter, and I go, I'll have some lunch. Have some lunch today, shall I? So I quit the game, and then later that night, when I go to boot it back up again, it starts me halfway through the prologue level. And I go, that's weird. Maybe that's a weird error. Let's load save. Nope, still back halfway through the prologue level. Cool story. So I did email the developer about it, and they said that it's a known issue that they're fixing, and I hope to God. And they said the only way to sort of make sure it doesn't happen is to never leave the game inside a level. Like, always leave it while you're in the hub area where you sort of choose which level you want to go into, which is, again, not an acceptable answer to me as far as game. Like, people should be able to leave the fucking game especially if the game clearly tells me it's auto saving when I reach like checkpoints and a little cog comes up saying like auto save. I think I can quit the game. Is that not what auto save means? Like as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I'm not gonna recommend this one. Even if the bugs get fixed, I would say it's just a fairly average game that's playing into like, again, like it's a horror game, so you got to tackle someone who's got sort of depression and a bit like it just sort of very paint by numbers sort of thing anyway. But yeah, just it plays bad. It doesn't work. Don't play this. This is they're 2 for 3 out of the China Hero Project. Like that's unfortunately how I go for this one. Big fan of Fist. Really liked Anno, that game. In Nightmares, thumbs down. Sorry, can't win them all.
Yep.
And then the last thing I want to talk about in game-wise quickly is that before we jumped on, I grabbed 2 platinums, right? Because I had 10 minutes to spare. So I'm like, what could I do? And I was like, I looked on the PlayStation Store. I see these games called the Cow G. I go, well, that's probably an easy platinum because it looks like shit. Turns out it is. There was a PS4 and a PS5 version. I'm like, that's sweet because I'm at 247 platinums, so I can quickly knock myself up to 249 before we start the episode. So the Cow G costs $2.45 or something each. You can get the PS5 version and then the PS4 version. All you do is hold R1. Every trophy gives you a cow fact, which is sort of the interesting thing about this one. So like it'll pop up and be like, let's see here, open the thing. So the first one you get 500 milk cans holding R1. All cows are female. Males are called bulls and steer. There you go. Next one. There are over 800 different cattle breeds. There you go. Cows eat grass. Didn't know that one? No, I didn't know that one. Cows can almost see 360 degrees. Cows can detect odors up to 6 miles away. Cows are very social and don't like to be alone. Cows are very like it's a learning game, right, Ash? It teaches you things.
Learning through trophies, not what you want.
That's exactly right. Learning through bloody trophies. That's all I need in my life.
Like elevating trophies to beyond what we thought that was possible.
Yeah. So now the thing is, now I'm up to 249, which I didn't expect to happen for a little while. But I was like, fuck, I need to decide what I want 250 to be. Now 250 isn't 300. 300 is the bigger deal. But I still want 250 to be something acceptable because it does pop up on when you go on PSN profiles, they track the, every 50th.
Every 50.
Yeah, like as a milestone. So here's what I'm thinking. Tell me if you think this would be acceptable. I'm thinking I'll do the Artful Escape because I really like that game. And I can get it on PS5 and I can replay it. Do we think that's an acceptable 250?
I think so. Part of me is going, you know what? Should make Elden Ring number 250.
No. How would I do that?
But another part of me is like, no, you should make Elden Ring number 300 and not open it until you've got another 299.
I was going to say, I haven't even started the game and you're telling me it should be my 250th platinum. Let's take a step back. 300? Maybe. That's definitely more realistic. But yeah, that's what I'm currently thinking. So maybe I'll do that before next week's episode. Plat 250, the Artful Escape.
This makes way more sense because I was like, why is he talking about 250 Platinum Explosion 250? That was last week.
That was last week. Hey, that's fucked, eh? I should have timed it up better. Man, I really fucked up in the long run. I really did that. But you know what I could do? Now that we're up to date, I could get 300 for 300? Maybe? If I really wanted to, I could.
You don't think you're going to get 50 plats in the next...
But the thing is, like, if I really wanted to hit the meme, there's enough of those shitty platinums to probably get me up there. You know what I mean?
No, what I'm thinking is you love shitty platinum so much, you would be above 300 by the time 300 comes around.
No, I'd love to. That'd be a good episode, though, Do it live, do a post-show, 300 platinum.
Do it live. I don't think doing it live works out well for you. Remember what was the plat you were trying to get last time? You're trying to get.
I got Death Stranding. I got it though.
It took like an extra 2-3 hours.
Yeah, I underestimated how long it would take. That's not my fault. That's that game. It's a walk-in, man. Like I was in the snow and shit. I didn't realize it would take so long. I should have got an extra couple collectibles. I left enough that I thought would fill the time, but I left too many. Really, is what I'd done incorrectly there. But yeah, I mean that's fucked, eh? But yeah, 250 I reckon should be that, unless I changed my mind. But yeah, I'm just gonna make sure 250 something. right, let's get into some news for this week before the big news starts later this week. There's actually a few things that has happened. So, firstly, add this to your list of things that may get announced this week. Sony might be gearing up to launch a new Knack game. Right, DualShockers. A franchise that has received quite a polarizing reception from the community. So, in case you don't know, they write, if you're an avid PlayStation fan, you might have definitely heard about Knack games. First game was launch trial for the PlayStation 4, and for that very reason, people had a lot of expectations from it. The game did quite well and sold almost a whopping 2 million copies back in the day, but the number was not reflective of public opinion with a Metacritic of 54%. Any other developer would just ditch the new IP if it got such a reception, but Sony rose to the occasion and took fan feedback positively to develop a sequel. It did improve on a wide range of aspects from the first game, and this time around fans were more receptive about the title. Now it seems Sony is set to release another title in the franchise as per a recent development. Sony has filed a new trademark for the Knack franchise. This is quite a surprising development considering the fact that hardly anyone would have expected Sony to be working on a new Knack game. And while it remains to be seen how fans will react to this, it doesn't seem to be a bad move. Knack 2 was already a much better game compared to its predecessor, and if Sony's taken decision to release a sequel, we can be pretty sure that it's going to make some significant changes once again. What do you reckon, Ash? Knack 3 in the books?
It's possible. I guess the question would be who would make it, seeing as they dissolved. They dissolved the Japan studios.
Mark Sony
did the previous 2 games. Maybe I just guess you get a third party company to collaborate with on the third Knack game. Yeah, I mean, maybe you should just lean into the memes about Knack at this point. Like I think it's Takes Two type game with Knack, with like mixing up the gameplay and it's like crazy situations with Knack. Could be interesting.
I mean,
but like just another Knack game, I don't think will be something people will be super interested in, other than the mean value of, hey, it's another Knack game.
Yeah. I didn't mind the first one. I still haven't played the second one, but I would be down for a third one solely because the whole purpose I feel like of Knack as a franchise was just it's a platformer built to showcase hardware or features of the PlayStation. So, and I know that's sort of what Astrobot did on the console at launch, but I mean, if they want to do a Knack 3, I feel like surely that's what it's still doing. Like it's still sort of it's a platforming game, but it's also a showcase for the hardware and, 3D sound, and it would have ray tracing, and it's just Mark Cerny being like, look, I worked on this thing and now I want to make a game to showcase all of its features because that's what I want to do. So, but it is a bit weird. It would be a wild week if they're like, hey, PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus thing, Knack 3, and PSX is back. Like, what a wild week that would be if we got all 3 things. Talking about games that may get actual release dates at some stage, DualShockers was Sony reiterates God of War Ragnarok 2022 release date amidst delay rumors. The past, where the fuck am I looking here? Sony, what the fuck? I lost where I was going there. However, it seems like Sony has no plans to delay God of War Ragnarok and is still on track for the 2020 release window. Blue Owl's Medic, who handles the community and social for Santa Monica Studios, confirmed in a tweet that God of War Ragnarok is indeed coming out in 2022. It should be noted that prominent games... Prominent games...
Did they confirm?
Games journalist Jason Schreier also reaffirmed a few weeks ago that God of War Ragnarok will be coming out this year. When it comes to the exact release date of the game, there is still no information, but many have suggested that the September to October window is something we can expect. I mean,
just saying it doesn't mean it's confirmed, is what I'm saying. I believe it's coming out this year.
Do you?
But tweeting God of War Ragnarok comes out this year is not a confirmation.
I mean, it's better than, like, they work there. It's not like the official account tweeting it, but I mean, still. It had some level of...
That's just stating news that we know currently at the moment.
Well, I guess it's just reaffirming, because there was all those rumors a couple weeks ago, people saying the game was delayed. So I guess it is just like following up on that to be like, hey, don't believe what you're reading on the streets. the game's still coming out this year. You know? Which I still believe, but I guess it's nice to know. And I was thinking the other day, it's like
if I tweeted out Better Call Saul is season 6 is coming out this year.
Yeah, but it has a release date.
It'd be like,
and there was no rumors it was getting delayed. Like,
I'm just confirming that it's actually coming out. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. I feel like I was thinking the other day, I feel like Elden Ring has Goaty in the bag, and the only two things I think have, like, simply based on precedent, like, set by their past titles, the only two games I feel like he could potentially upset it is God of War Ragnarok and Breath of the Wild 2.
Starfield.
No, fuck Starfield. You reckon Starfield? I just reckon.
I mean, if it comes out and is game changing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe. But I'm going based on the last games these people released were well loved, 10 out of 10s by a lot of by a lot of critics and stuff. And that's God of War and Breath of the Wild. Bethesda Starfield could be game changing. However, the last few titles, they don't have
it just depends on what sort of campaign they run within the year, like how they put, does Elden Ring come out and like do something offensive between now and the end of the year? If God of War like gives bribes a few people within the industry, I don't know.
Don't spread that.
Give some good speeches. What if Elden Ring comes out and like compares itself to female athletes? I mean, that'd
be a very weird thing for Elden Ring to suddenly grow a mouth and say that. I mean,
yeah,
wilder things have happened, I guess. Yeah, I reckon that September, October probably sounds. That sounds like it.
It seems likely.
Seems likely.
But not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
It's just coming out this year. Gran Turismo 7 is looking to fix everything that completely fucked up the last couple of weeks. So over on the PlayStation blog, Kazunori Yamauchi, thank fans for the continued support and feedback on the game. Apologize for the frustration that the last update caused. It then went on to list several updates that are coming as soon as April and $1 million credit pack that players can redeem. So if you want $1 million, you simply have to log into the game between now and April 25th. $1 million's like a good amount, but it's still like... The cars cost them $15 million and whatever. So they also talked about there's an update coming early April. So for all we know, it could be tomorrow, next day, whenever, like soon. That's going to increase rewards and events in the later half of the world circuits by approximately 100%. Addition of high rewards for clearing the circuit experience in old gold and bronze results. Increase of rewards in online races. Include a total of 8 new 1-hour endurance race events for missions. These will also have higher reward settings. Increase the upper limit of non-paid credits and player wallets from 20 million to 100 million. Increase the quantity of used and legendary cards that are on offer at any given time. They also listed a bunch of updates that are in works, but there has no planned release window for them, which is the increase the payout value of limited time rewards as we develop as a live service. So that's more or less daily, sounds like daily reward sort of potentials and stuff there. Further World Circuit event additions, addition of endurance races to missions, including 24-hour races. Ranking battles in online time trials will be made more advantageous with rewards earned based on achieving a time that is plus 1%, 2%, 3%, and 5% of the top time, and make it so cars can be sold. These are all fantastic changes to the game. Although it is hilarious the fact that they're having to spend, like, instead of just working on proper updates for the game, like spending all that time and effort on just working on like more races and content and stuff generally for the game, they're having to spend a bunch of time to fix their mistake. You know what I mean? Like, all this shit didn't need to happen unless they hadn't have added, like, hadn't have designed the game around the fucking microtransactions. Like, because it's just dumb. Anyway, so I was good. I was glad when this update got posted. I think once this latest update posts soon, that is, if everything there is the way it sounds, I think that's on the right track to sort of fixing the game and making it so that that you could play races and earn credits like good, efficient ways, especially if those 1-hour races give really high payouts for something that's, like 1-hour race is 1-hour race, And I mean, Gran Turismo's always had long endurance races, like the 24-hour races. And I remember I did a 24-hour race on GT2 after school every day for like a week or so. Like, it took me ages. I just had the game consistently on pause. And just was always doing it. So, it's always been a part of the franchise, but those races should give you massive fucking credit payouts even if you come third or whatever, like just for the amount of time it obviously takes to play it. So, the same for the 1 hour one. So the fact that the make cars to be sold is part of the update coming in the future, and that wasn't in the game at launch. I have no idea, because cars, as far as I'm aware, have always been able to be sold in every game just at launch, especially all the older ones, obviously, before they could introduce patches all the time. But yeah, I mean, as someone who's been complaining about this, I feel like every week, this is I'll say a step in the correct addition to everything. Fall Guys, just update on what we talked about last week. So we talked about how they're going to get a new launcher. Well, PlayStation Lifestyle Rights, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout will be getting a new launcher, PS4 next month, and all players will have to download that. So we talked about that. The good news is the new launcher brings a new trophy list. So that's cool. But the bad news is the original trophies will become discontinued alongside the old launcher. So, long story short is for whatever reason, I guess let's blame PlayStation for this one as well. They're losing access to the trophies assigned because it'll be technically a new SKU of the game, I guess, is how it works. And there's no way to assign the new one to the old trophy list. So you're going to lose access. The trophies, I presume, will be the exact same. They mentioned that everything should auto pop. I hope they change it. I would love it to change. Yeah.
Listen, just change that one trophy.
Infallible? Yeah.
Right the wrong.
Yeah. It's fucking infallible.
Yeah.
Win 5 matches in a row, whatever.
Not infallible, in fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Not only possible when the game was broken.
Do you watch when this new update goes live, and if I see people saying that, that way you could cheat it is back, quickly, you watch me call in sick to work.
Fuck it, fuck ass full escape. It's gonna be Fall Guys.
Yeah, Fall Guys. Need it, fucking nothing else. I just need to get that trophy done. I fucked up last time. I didn't do it soon enough. Yeah, so it's weird. So if you, for some reason, haven't, let's say you've got the infallible trophy, and you haven't cleared up the rest to get the platinum, you've got to do that soon, within the next week or two, because after that you won't be able to go back and grab those trophies. So yeah, if you haven't cleaned up, you can potentially get the platinum in that now, and then auto pop a second platinum when the new one pops up. But yeah, once that's done, you're not going to be able to earn any more trophies in that version of the game, which is weird, because that means there will be a trophy set that no one will ever be able to touch or attain or finish. Yeah, again. But there you go. A new PS5 firmware has dropped over the past week. So the major features, right, push square, some big changes to how parties work, as well as the ability to ping games as apps. So game base and parties have now had an overhaul. Game base is now divided into 3 sections: friends, parties, and messages, with parties now referring to voice chats. Your friends list is now featured under the friends tab for easier access, and friend requests and search are now found here too. 6 new languages are now supported for the screen reader function. If you care about any of that, they added Russian and Ukrainian language in the same update, which is interesting. Trophies have been given a refreshed look, with trophy cards and the trophy list even more colorful. Additionally, the trophy tracker can now suggest trophies for you to earn while playing the game, which I definitely think is cool. Voice command can now be enabling, letting you say "Hello PlayStation" followed by a command, but you cannot say "Hello." You cannot say "Hello PlayStation" save clip, which is still utterly disappointing. So there's, in the games library, you can now filter by genre. The PlayStation PS PlayStation app is now pinned to the leftmost side of the home screen for easy access. Speaking of pinning, you can now pin up to 5 games or apps to the home screen by highlighting the icon and selecting "Keep in Home" from the options menu. Additionally, the icon ribbon will allows for 3 more games or apps to be shown. The DualShock PS5 controller also has an update. So yeah, I had to do that. You're supposed to do it. It tells you features won't work, but fucking who knows. But yeah, find your cord and update that as well, because that's the annoying thing. They're like, "Oh, your DualSense need to update." I'm like, "Well, where the fuck's my USB cord for it?" God damn it. It's a pretty cool update. I think there's some cool things in here. I think the trophy stuff is cool. I definitely like the layout to the games, to the friends list, like the way that's set up now. I think it's less confusing than what it was before, like where the parties were and the chats and the messages and all that. I think the new system is cool. I think my favorite thing from the update is definitely just adding those extra couple games that are on the menu. So that was the thing I noticed straight away. Like as soon as I booted up, because I like had been playing the same thing for last week or whatever, which was Ghostwire, was always there. And because of that, I could always, whatever game I had at the end, I can't remember, but I always, my mind got used to seeing it. And then I booted up one day after the update and suddenly there's the extra couple games there. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But it doesn't look like it's any smaller. It just works. So I think having access to some more games there, obviously the pinning thing is cool. So, being able to, especially if you're someone who changes around games a lot, and you want to keep those multiplayer games like Apex or whatever, to the front menu at all times, you find the game, click options, click on the keep always on the home menu and you're set there. I think that's a really cool, feature. Yeah. Did any of this, were you like, oh, that's cool? Or you're like, no, none of this is for me. Did you even notice any of this when the update went on?
No.
I didn't think so. You know why? It's because your TV doesn't fucking resolution. You can't even see all the games that are on the screen. That's why. I know why. PlayStation also talked about upcoming updates. So Push Square writes, ever since PlayStation 5 launched, fans have been crying out for VRR support. Variable refresh rate is a software-based technology that smooths out frame pacing issues, essentially eliminating screen tearing and other visual artifacting. Basically, it makes games perform that little bit better. It's no wonder everyone wants it. In a new PlayStation blog post, the company has announced that VRR will indeed be coming to PS5 in the coming months. The functionality will be supported on HDMI 2.1 compatible TVs and PC monitors, which is basically most modern displays. Sony further explained the benefits, saying, quote, gameplay in many PS5 titles feels smooth as scenes render instantly, graphics look crisper, and input lag is reduced, end quote. The platform holder goes on to state that the previously released PS5 games can be fully optimized for VRR through a game patch, end quote, and that future titles will launch with VRR supported, which makes sense. If you want, though, you'll also be able to enable VRR on games that don't fully support it. This may have varied results, but you'll be able to turn it on or off. So this is cool. This is definitely one of the most requested from technical side of things. I think alongside the other one that a lot of people want is just 2K support, because a lot of people have PC monitors that they play their PS5s on and they want to be able to set it to, for example, my PC monitor is a 1440p monitor, but PlayStation 5 can't actually do 1440p. It either does 1080p or it goes straight to 2160, full 4K. There's nowhere in between. But also, my PC monitors are 165 hertz or whatever, and I can't even take advantage of that or of any of the variable refresh rate stuff, which is cool. So, or even my TV. Obviously, my TV has the VRR. I can do all that and stuff. So, and Xbox has had the ability to use all this, but it just hasn't been able to use it. So that'll be cool coming up soon. And then lastly, this week, just go over this quickly, but I think maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it next week if you want to play some of this shit, or at least the major one, Ash, is what I was thinking. So the Impy Awards officially happened yesterday, the day before, over the weekend anyway. So PlayStation Blog writes, did you catch the third annual Impy Awards streaming last night? No, I did not. I was at work and I watched Oscars. If you did, thanks for tuning in. And since our apologies for subjecting you to the Connie hat. Don't worry if you couldn't make it though. I've popped up a video onto the YouTube channel. So if you do want to watch the full show, you can check it out there. Just the full categories here, because it seems like there's less than last year. I don't know. Maybe I'm going insane. But basically the big winner, because it got excellent in art direction, and then I think that was it. I don't think it got anything else. No. So it got excellent in art direction, and then it was creation of the year, which is the Idlium, which is by Zio Helowski and Beavis 2.
So this is, it's not necessarily a game, but it's a full recreation or a creation of a contemporary art museum.
Yep.
So you just walk around, look at it, look at the exhibits,
Yeah. It says, the description
Zone
says, a surreal virtual museum featuring artworks by Hilowski, Zeke, and Bevis too. Explore numerous galleries, enjoy the tranquility of the complex as you discover new recreations around every corner. Enjoy your visit, and it's a VR compatible title as well if you want to walk around the museum that way. So, yeah. I mean, it's important. Like, it's always creation of the year. It's not like game of the year, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you feel like there's less here though? Because they have,
maybe it's a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah, because
which works.
Previous years, I feel like they had like a lot of titles at the awards that felt the same, but they've got like art direction, environmental art, narrative, sculpture, track of the year, musician of the year, animation, excellence in gameplay, most original gameplay, excellence in curation, character design, audio design, innovation. Community star, voice acting, which I don't remember if they had last year. Maybe I can't remember. Most helpful dreamer, beyond dreams. Contribution beyond dreams, sorry, which is went to the Made in Dreams podcast. Excellence in VR, evolving experience, community collaboration, breakthrough dreamer, the creators / team of the year, and then creation of the year, which I feel like is a lot less than last year. But yeah, I feel like as long as time allows it, either next week or the week after, let's do I don't know, creation of the year. Some of these. Let's just pick the main ones and we'll talk about them. But yeah, congrats to all the winners, and let's if there's a time to jump back into Dreams and play some stuff and check it out and talk about it and over the next week or two. Now's the time for sure. So 3rd annual Impies. I'm glad this has turned into a proper show. And I didn't watch the full thing. I've skimmed through it because I just haven't had time. But I really like the presentation and like doing it like as a proper sort of award show sort of thing. And the what's-my-call thing this year is very cool. The can't remember the official thing. The Dreams, the hub thing that you can walk around to check out all the nominees and winners and stuff that they've updated over the last month or whatever. That's really cool as well. So good stuff on Dreams. Keen to jump into some of those ones. And until we're back later in the week when they announce a bunch of shit, as soon as we're done, press stop on this goddamn podcast. You can let us know your thoughts on the stuff that's announced after we're done recording by either tweeting at us or join us on their Discord. Follow our Twitters, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. You can find our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord. And if you like this episode and thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page, explosionnetwork.com/support. Drop $1, set up a monthly recurring payment. Whatever you need to do, every dollar helps the show and the website. Until next week, or later this week, remember, every trophy counts. Go play the cow game. Learn some cow facts.